So good morning, everyone.
Morning.
And thank you all for coming. My name is Denise Mays, and I am the president of the Atlanta, North Georgia Labor Council. Here at the Labor Council, we are committed to dynamic leaders like DeKalb County CEO Burell Ellis. CEO Ellis has shown during his first term in office that he is committed to working families and understands the necessity of organized labor's presence. And speaking of presence, organized labor has approximately 14,000 members that reside in DeKalb County. Registered voters who are ready to canvass the streets and pick up the phones and spread the word that the current CEO is our man for re-election. We are all ready to inform our voters how Ellis is committed to working families, how his One DeKalb Works initiative will create 4,700 good-paying jobs where DeKalb County residents will be given preference for employment.
That's right.
I also would like to say that I am a proud member, or resident, should I say, of DeKalb County.
Yeah.
So not only am I excited that Ellis has the endorsement from the House of Labor, but I am excited to say that he has my vote. Now I'm going to turn it over to Charlie Fleming, President of the Georgia AFL-CIO.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. I first of all want to thank Denise for going through this process. I think it's important for the public to know that there is a process. As the former president of the Labor Council, I know it's a lot of hard work. You have to try to get 49 affiliates to get together, to sit down for a number of days, to ask hard questions, to go through the process so that we're sure that we're going to support somebody that supports working families. And I just think that the Labor Council does a great job, and I'm really appreciative that they've invited me to come today to add my voice to supporting CEO Ellis. I actually have a relationship with the CEO 4 years ago when I was the president of the Atlanta, North Georgia Labor Council. We went through that process, and there was another candidate that had a lot of personal relationships with a lot of our folks and was probably a little bit better well-known, if you will, with the affiliates. And he got our endorsement, and we got it wrong. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is right after we got it wrong, I reached out to the CEO and told him that we wanted to have a conversation. We truly wanted to build a partnership with DeKalb County. He readily accepted it. The things that he said in the screening process, he has followed through. He says he supports workers' rights to join a union. He's followed through on that. He gave us a neutrality agreement, which basically says if you're a DeKalb County worker and you want to join a union, you have his blessing. That's your decision, not anybody else. He's such a forward-thinking, dynamic leader, as Denise said. You know, in these difficult economic times, he has come up with new initiatives, the DeKalb One initiatives. Certainly has reached out to labor to try to help make these things a success. We're excited about being able to, you know, help DeKalb Countyans get jobs, good-paying jobs, get skills that they'll be able to take for the rest of their life and go anywhere in this country with those skills. And that's the kind of leadership you need in DeKalb County. And that's the kind of leadership we have. We need 4 more years of it. And I know the Georgia AFL, even though this is the Labor Council's endorsement, I know the Georgia AFL and the entire labor movement is really excited and proud to be here today. So thank you.
Come up and have a few words. Eric Robertson from the Teamsters, he's the political director.
I want to bring greetings from our president, Randy Brown, who can't be here today. He is unfortunately negotiating a contract with one of our employers that we've recently organized. And also on behalf of the over 1,000 Teamsters who reside in DeKalb County, what our largest work site in our union, in our local union, is in DeKalb County. It's the UPS facility on Pleasantdale. And a huge number of those members reside in DeKalb County and vote in DeKalb County elections. And we're here today to say that we're 100% behind the CEO, Ellis. Like Charlie said, we got it wrong 4 years ago. And you don't come across a leader who, when somebody gets it wrong, is supporting them, is willing to reach out that olive branch and say, you know, that's behind us. Let's work together to bring everybody together. And the CEO did that. And that was a tremendous statement in favor of his character to do that for us. But the other thing, you know, there's not a leader in this country right now over the last few years who hasn't had to make tough decisions in relation to government services, and everybody's had to make tough calls and cuts and wherever they've had to do. And it's open season on leaders who made those tough calls, from the cheap seats, from the people who didn't have to make those decisions, and coming on and second-guessing those hard decisions that they never had to make. And I just want to say that it's what the CEO's been willing to do in DeKalb County has been a shining example of what leaders had to do over these last few tough years, both making those hard decisions, but also looking for ways to dig our way out of this mess that's been created. And that is one of the biggest reasons why we have to, labor's going to get out, and we're going to do the door knocking, we're going to do the phone calls to make sure our members and their families know who they need to support, who's really behind working families this year.
We really appreciate that. Now we want to bring up the man of the hour, CEO of DeKalb County, Burell Ellis.
First of all, let me thank Eric and Charlie and Denise for their kind words. Let me say that I'm very excited to receive this unanimous endorsement from the 37 members of the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council. And let me tell you why. First and foremost, because I am the son of 2 public employees. Second, I'm a lifelong Democrat. And third, I'm a lawyer. And as a lawyer, one of the things I know very keenly is the role that the labor movement has played, and organized labor has played in protecting the rights of workers, to make sure that they're fairly treated, to make sure that they get decent wages, and to make sure that they get the kind of benefits so that they can raise families and have the kind of quality of life that everybody expects and deserves. That is, in fact, the American way. And that organized labor has ensured us that that has continued to happen. The other reason I'm excited is, you know, as Eric pointed out, this has been a tough 4.5 years. This recession started before, you know, those executives like myself who are in office now. We inherited a big mess, and it's been left on our shoulders and put in place in our hands to clean up this mess, but we haven't had to do it alone. We've had to do it in a way that is decent, in a way that is sensitive, in a way that respects hard-working families. We've had to get it right, and it hasn't always been easy to get it right. But having a partner like organized labor has made it that much easier. Organized labor has ensured that all of the jobs just don't get outsourced and sent out of the country, but that we keep jobs right here in the United States.
That's right.
And when Eric mentioned our One DeKalb Works program, organized labor has worked with us to ensure that we can train people right here at home, in our home county. But what we're doing here ought to be a model for what the region will do if the transportation referendum passes this summer. It ought to be a model for what the state ought to do. It ought to be a model for what this country ought to do. Training people right here as we rebuild our infrastructure and putting our residents, our citizens, back to work, giving them, again, decent wages with benefits.
Yeah.
thank you for what you represent. I want to thank you for all that you've done to advance the cause, all that organized labor has done to advance the cause of workers here in the United States of America. Because of what you do, America is a great country and will ascend to greatness, continue to rise, even as we work our way out of this recession that we've had to live through in the last few years. And I want you to know that this endorsement means as much to me as any endorsement. Yeah, you know, 4 years ago was 4 years ago. And, you know, and I had to lick my wounds and say, man, you know.
I think we licked our wounds.
But here's what we really had to do. I wanted to make sure that we got it right, so that when we came back, that we could all stand together. And I didn't want to wait 4 years to do that. So we've made some progress, but we got more work to do together. Right. And I'm glad to know that the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council is going to be standing with me over the next 4 years as we not only move DeKalb County forward, as we move the state of Georgia forward.
All right, let's get a nice group photo. Everyone smile. Everyone